Marsaxlokk is one of the most authentic places I visited in Malta. But is it actually worth your time or just another overrated tourist stop? I came here expecting colorful boats and a quick visit. But what I experienced turned out to be completely different, and not in the way most people describe it online. In this video, I'll show you exactly what to do here, what to eat, real prices, and whether Marsaxlokk is truly worth visiting. Marsaxlokk is best known for its traditional fishing harbor filled with colorful boats called luzzus, and when I first saw them, it honestly looked even better than I expected. It's also famous for its Sunday market, where the whole village suddenly becomes busy and full of energy. But what really stood out to me was how local and untouched this place felt, almost like a different side of Malta that most tourists don't really experience. The best way to experience Marsaxlokk is not just visiting the harbor, but turning it into a half-day experience. I started with a walk along the harbor, then took a small boat for around €10 to St. Peter's Pool and came back after swimming in crystal clear water. That alone already made the trip worth it for me. After that, I had lunch at a seafood restaurant and then drove about 15 minutes to Shuriek, where I joined a Blue Grotto boat tour for around €12. And that's when it really changed for me, because it no longer felt like just a small village. Start your visit at the main harbor, because this is where everything happens and where you'll immediately feel the character of Marsaxlokk. This is where I spent most of my time, and I didn't even feel the need to rush anywhere else. Watching the colorful luzzu boats moving gently on the water was surprisingly relaxing, almost like the place forces you to slow down. Each boat has an eye painted on the front, believed to protect fishermen from danger. Right next to the harbor, there's a promenade with colorful buildings and small shops that create a warm atmosphere. As you walk, you'll come across the fisherman's statue, reflecting the village's strong connection to the sea. From there, head towards the main square, which feels quieter and more local. Here you'll find the parish church of Our Lady of Pompeii and nearby the statue of St. Andrew, both symbols of the village's identity. I also recommend exploring the streets behind the harbor to see a more local side of Marsaxlokk. And if you want something more adventurous, St. Peter's Pool nearby is one of the best swimming spots I saw in Malta. One of the best things to do here is simply slow down and walk along the harbor. I found myself doing almost nothing for a while, just watching the boats and the daily life of fishermen, and that became one of my favorite moments of the trip. Taking photos of the colorful luzzus is something you'll naturally do because everything looks very photogenic. Trying fresh seafood at a waterfront restaurant is another must, and I personally had grilled sea bream, which was one of the best meals I had in Malta. You can also take a small boat to St. Peter's Pool for around €10, which adds a completely different experience. Swimming there was easily one of the highlights of my day, and I didn't expect it to be this memorable. Sitting down for a coffee by the harbor and people watching is another simple but enjoyable experience. If you visit on a Sunday, the market is worth seeing, even though it gets crowded. You can also shop for small souvenirs like handmade ceramics and local products. And if you have extra time, I highly recommend combining this with the Blue Grotto tour nearby, because it adds something you won't get in Marsaxlokk alone. Marsaxlokk is about 20 to 25 minutes from Valletta by car, and getting here is very easy. I personally rented a car, which made visiting St. Peter's Pool and Blue Grotto much easier. You can also take public buses or hop-on, hop-off buses, but they take longer and are less flexible. Uber and Bolt also work well in Malta, and once you arrive, everything is easily walkable. If you're thinking about staying here, Marsaxlokk offers small guest houses and boutique hotels with harbor views. Staying here gives you a quieter and more local experience compared to St. Julian's. But personally, I preferred staying in St. Julian's and visiting Marsaxlokk as a day trip, which felt more flexible. In terms of prices, Marsaxlokk is not the cheapest place in Malta, but it's definitely not overpriced. Coffee costs around €2 to €4, and a casual lunch is about €15 to €25 per person. A seafood meal at a nice restaurant ranges from €25 to €40. The small boat to St. Peter's Pool costs around 10 euros, and the Blue Grotto tour is about 12 euros. If you stay here, budget guest houses start from around 70 to 100 euros, while boutique hotels range between 100 and 180 euros. Premium options can go above 200 euros in summer. Overall, I think it offers very good value, especially when you combine everything in one day. Marsaxlokk is especially known for its seafood, and this is definitely what you should try here. Fresh fish like sea bream and sea bass are very popular, and you can really taste how fresh they are. I personally didn't expect to enjoy octopus this much, but the octopus stew here was surprisingly good. And if you like sweets, try traditional Maltese desserts like nougat or honey rings. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting Marsaxlokk to be a full-day destination. Another mistake is arriving during peak hours and being surprised by the crowds. Some people choose the first restaurant they see, which is not always the best option. Skipping nearby places like St. Peter's Pool or Blue Grotto is another big mistake. And not combining Marsaxlokk with other southern Malta spots makes the trip less rewarding. If you want the best experience, come early in the morning or close to sunset when it feels more relaxed. Sundays are great for the market, but expect crowds. Always check restaurant reviews before choosing where to eat. Plan your visit as a half-day trip, including St. Peter's Pool and Blue Grotto. Take your time while walking around, because this place is about slowing down. And in summer, don't forget sunscreen because there is very little shade. So is Marsaxlokk worth visiting? In my opinion, yes, but only if you come with the right expectations, because it's not for everyone. This is not a place full of attractions, but it offers something more valuable, which is an authentic local experience. It's perfect for slowing down, enjoying good food, and seeing a different side of Malta. And when combined with nearby spots, it becomes much more than just a small village. For me, it was one of the most enjoyable and memorable stops in Malta. If you're planning a trip to Malta, Marsaxlokk is definitely worth adding to your itinerary. And if you want more real travel guides like this, make sure to subscribe, because sometimes the simplest places turn out to be the most memorable. I've also created a full Malta travel series playlist where I cover all the main regions of the island in detail. If you watch the full series before your trip, you'll not only understand Malta much better, but you'll also know exactly where to go, what to do, and what to avoid.